It can't. It can't have any meaning. It is completely meaningless, right? Because it does not appeal to the principle of verifiability. It's certainly not a tautological claim, right? Because it's based in experience. It's a posteriori claim, and it really has nothing to do with analysis, right? I'm trying to determine a missing shade of blue. So, since it doesn't fit into any of those sort of domains, any of those categories, according to logical positivists, the very attempt to describe or to discuss the concept of a missing shade of blue is itself ridiculous. It's meaningless. Why? Because we know exactly, if we say missing shade of blue, we recognize that the statement, the missing shade of blue, given all of this assumed knowledge which you now have, right, cannot, by definition, cannot be verified in experience. No means of verification, right? There's no means of verification by definition because it's the missing shade of blue, right? Therefore, since there is no means of verification, then any proposition, any statement, any claim which incorporates the notion of this missing shade of blue is itself meaningless, right? Is itself meaningless. So it's important to recognize that for the logical positivists, and that's just, to be honest with you, that's extremely rudimentary. It gets a lot more difficult, right? You can talk about very complicated notions of deconstruction and so on and so forth. You can talk about semantics and agreeability. You can talk about predication. There's a lot that can be talked about that. You can talk about a lot with respect to sort of this idea of the relationship between the content of our mind, and I mean mind in a biological, physicalist sense, and the existence of the phenomenal thing in experience, right? If that phenomenal thing in experience, by definition, does not exist, then we cannot have a representative, even conceptually, a representative concept of that thing in our mind, because there is no way to trace consistency from our mind to the thing in the world, and therefore the entire discussion revolving around the missing shade of blue, supernatural events, phenomenon, all of that stuff, according to the logical positivist, is completely meaningless. It might be fun to describe it, it might be interesting to talk about, but in actuality, nothing is fruitfully being said. Okay, that was a rather introductory account, but I think it was a very good account. I think it was a detailed enough account to give you a clear understanding of what logical positivism, aka positivism, aka logical empiricism is, what the objectives of the positivists were, the historical situatedness of logical positivism with respect to sort of this baton change from theology to metaphysics to logical positivism, with the baton change from Hume to Kant to the logical positivists, with respect to the meta-descriptive account between logical positivists and reality. It's not a direct description, but a meta-description. And then finally, the fields most affected by logical positivists, which were science, ethics, and linguistic studies or language. Hopefully this has helped you quite a bit. I appreciate you for watching the videos. I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell. Have a good day.